In 1965, a spacecraft was passing over the Sahara Desert. Two astronauts sitting in it were looking at the ground with great surprise. They had seen something in the middle of the Sahara that was very difficult to believe. These two astronauts were James McDevitt and Edward White, who saw a very large human eye-like structure in the sand-filled desert. Surprisingly, there was also a human eye-like structure in the middle of it. Welcome to Curious World Videos once again. Viewers, the length of this eye is 265 kilometers and the width is 70 kilometers. Its total area is 18,500 square kilometers. That is, 30 cities like Mumbai and 5 cities like Karachi can easily fit in it. While its puppet, which is in a perfect round shape, is 40 km in diameter. Such a large, unique and mysterious structure can only be seen from space, and it is known as the Eye of Sahara or the Richard structure. Here you must be thinking that this is a sign of a very big asteroid impact, but in reality it is not. Scientists have not yet found evidence of any asteroid impact here. This is the reason why this structure has kept the scientific community in deep confusion. How did this unique and perfect round structure, which had spread for thousands of miles in the desert, finally form? We do not know this, but the map of the Atlantis city, which has been lost in history, is very similar to the Eye of Sahara. Not just one or two, but dozens of maps of Atlantis state that it was a very advanced civilization whose cities were made in a ring shape, and each ring was connected to each other by a bridge, under which the water of the sea passed. Many similarities have been seen in the shape and description of the Eye of Sahara. As far as its location is concerned, 2,500 years ago, the Greek historian Herodotus made a map of the world at that time. In it, there is a city called Atlantis in the west of Africa. If this map is matched with today's world map, the location of Atlantis matches the location of the Richard structure. Not only on this map, but 2,000 years ago, the Roman geographer Pomponius Mela also made a world map. There is also a city called Atlantia in it. The orientation of this map is towards the east, but if it is rotated and turned up north, it can also be seen here that in the northwest area of Sahara, he has shown Atlantia or Atlantis, where the Atlanteans lived. Once again, the location of Atlantis matches today's Richard structure or Eye of Sahara. If you look at the Richard structure from the ground, its rings are so big that no one will even know that it is standing in the middle of them. Here, archaeologists did not find any such evidence to show that some human civilization existed here 12,000 years ago. But on the other hand, no other structure like Richard was seen anywhere in the world. This is why it is a mystery for science. In addition to the Richard structure, the Sahara Desert has many more secrets hidden inside it. The name of the African Sahara reminds us of the scorching sun, never-ending sand dunes, and extreme heat. But the drier the Sahara Desert looks from above, it has seen the same green period in the history of the Earth. The total area of this desert is spread over 9 million square kilometers, just like the entire United States of America or the entire Europe. Sahara is so large that it is shared by a total of 11 countries, and it is constantly increasing. In every 100 years, the Sahara area is increasing by 10%. But why is this? And where did so much sand come from? The most interesting scene of this desert is the White Desert in Egypt, which gives the look of the Arctic region during the day. Looking at the formations of white sand and white limestone in the middle, it seems that someone has made them in this shape. But actually, thousands of millions of years ago, this place used to be the bottom of the ocean. 250 million years ago, when dinosaurs ruled our world, the place where Sahara is present at that time was an ocean called Tethys. For millions of years, the weight of this ocean formed a layer of limestone at its bottom. As time passed, when new continents were formed, the ocean ended, and for the first time, the winds began to collide on this layer of limestone. Due to wind erosion, the particles of limestone continued to spread and gradually turned into this white desert. This is the story of not only the White Desert, but also the formation of the entire Sahara Desert. Where there was limestone, there was a white desert, and where there was sandstone, there was orange sand. Surprisingly, the Sahara Desert was not always like this. Scientists have found such evidence in the sand, such plants and tree fossils, which cannot grow in the harsh conditions of Sahara today. This means that Sahara was not always like this, but sometimes the map of this place was quite different from today's Sahara. 2.6 million years ago, our world was heading towards the last ice age. Everything started freezing, there was no difference between land and ocean, and glaciers had begun to form. Geologists say that this was the fifth largest ice age in the history of the Earth. Our Earth goes into the ice age after every few billion years. This normally happens due to change in the orbit of the Earth, when the Earth moves further away from the Sun. The areas of the equator in this last ice age, in which Africa also comes, were not frozen but had become quite cold, which is also called the African humid period. Where the whole world was covered with thick layers of ice, the Sahara was green and full of life. There were thousands of miles of meadows here, and there was green grass on every step. Because of the rains, rivers flowed here. There were lakes, which today would have been called the largest lakes in the world. There were all kinds of animals here, which live in a rainforest. Along with all these things, a large number of ancient humans had also migrated here. Because compared to the rest of the world, the Sahara's greenery supported life. Agriculture could be done here, animals could be raised, and the weather was also suitable, as it is today in Europe. This ice age, which lasted for about 2.5 million years, began to end 11,000 years ago. The average temperature of the Earth began to rise slowly from -60 degrees Celsius. The thick layer of ice began to melt, and on top of the oceans, the icicles began to melt slowly. For the next several thousand years, the Sahara's life conditions remained the same, but then around 4000 BC, that is 6,000 years ago, nature decided to take back the greenery of the Sahara. From then on, the green meadows began to dry up again, and the sand below came into contact with the air again and began to spread. A glimpse of green Africa billions of years ago can be seen today in the world's longest Nile River. The 6,695-kilometer-long river began in South Africa from Uganda, passing through the Sahara, falls into the Mediterranean Sea near Egypt. When North Africa turned into a desert, the ancient Egyptians living here had only the water of the Nile River to survive. Ancient Egyptians and Greeks tried many times to find out where the water of the Nile River actually comes from, but its countless branches are so complex that they could never find out. This was the reason why the ancient Egyptians began to worship the Nile River. In their eyes, it was a sacred river whose source no one knew, but even in the modern era, it took many expeditions to find the origin of the Nile River. The entire Nile River passes through 11 countries during its journey, and it is only 200 meters shorter than the Amazon River. Now, because during every ice age in the African continent there was a pleasant weather, that is, either it was very hot here or there were normal conditions, but Arctic conditions were not born here at any time, in which it was not possible for humans to live. For this reason, the evidence of the ancient civilizations of humans has also been found in Africa. Or it can be said that if humans started from here, then it would not be wrong. In November 1974, in Ethiopia, the oldest human skeleton has been found from Hadar. This structure is 40% complete, which is surprisingly 3.2 million years old. In many religions, the area of the beginning of humanity is said to be today's Africa, and scientific evidence also shows that the human species was first born in Africa. In the Sahara Desert, there is a place called Enidi Plateau, where there is a secret garden. This place is no less than a paradise for local caravans travelers. For thousands of years, this place has been a stopover for caravans traveling in the Sahara. Here, animals, especially camels, drink water, and there are also cold caves for humans to rest. Some memories of that era of ancient Africa are still printed in these caves, when the Sahara was green. Rock arts can be seen in the caves from time to time, in which cattle can be seen the most. These animals are often found in places where there is grass for them to eat. Today, it is not possible for any other animal other than camels to walk around here. Until the 1940s, there were African lions here, but now they are also extinct. In this hidden garden, some crocodiles live by the water. But the question is that crocodiles can't travel that far, so where did they come from in the middle of the Sahara? Experts believe that this is the generation of African crocodiles which has not come from anywhere, but has been here for thousands of years. Today, only a few crocodiles live here, and they are also slowly dying. They don't have much to eat. They survive by eating frogs and fish in the water. The mystery of the unique and mysterious stone of the necklace of the ancient Egyptian king Tutankhamun is also hidden in the Sahara. This stone has puzzled researchers for many years. It is a natural glass stone that is not found anywhere in the world. For a while, it was believed that it was not part of our planet, but came from another world. But then, finally, its origin was also found in the middle of the Sahara. Many such stones were found scattered among the sand in the Sahara area in Libya. Experts believe that 3 billion years ago, the asteroid impact melted the sandstone stones here. At that time, the flow of rivers and rivers was very common here. When the lava of the sandstone fell on the water, it immediately cooled down and became a glass stone. The unlimited sand of the Sahara looks completely useless. Neither can this sand be used to make concrete mixtures in construction, nor is it of any other productive use. But in reality, it is the sand of the Sahara that breathes in the Amazon rainforest 4,000 km away. Every year, millions of tons of sand fly through the air and fall across the ocean into South America. The phosphorus present in it is only 0.08%, but experts believe that it is enough to maintain the phosphorus level of the Amazon rainforest. In the Amazon rainforest, phosphorus flows into the rivers with the rainwater and is wasted. If this phosphorus does not fall in the Amazon rainforest, then there will be a shortage of phosphorus in the land here, and new plants and trees will stop growing. Now, let's know some amazing facts about the Sahara Desert. Usually, the Sahara Desert is known as the largest desert in the world, but in reality, it is the third largest desert in the world. The first two are Antarctica and Arctic deserts. It is true that the Sahara is the largest hot desert in the world, while Antarctica and the Arctic are included in the cold deserts. The total area of the Sahara is 9 million square kilometers, but its area changes every season, because sand either spreads or becomes compact in every season. In the entire Sahara, sand has spread only 25% of the area. There are rocky mountains in other areas. The height of the sand dunes here is up to 180 meters, and the highest point of the Sahara is Mount Kosi, which is 3,415 meters high. This is undoubtedly the hottest desert in the world, but in many places there is snowfall here and the temperature drops to -6 degrees Celsius. I hope you will like and share this video of Curious World. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.